What's up, gang? I love you all. Thank you for coming back and watching this. And if it's your first time watching, double thanks for taking the chance on me. Spend a few minutes with me having some fun. This is the CDjunky. My name is Aiden, and I am the titular CDjunky. And I want today to revisit my original post on this page because originally I thought, well, what I thought was that I wouldn't be putting so much effort into this. I thought I would just pick pieces and take a picture of them and maybe type out a little story about why that piece of my collection is important to me. But what I've found is that I just love talking to myself in a room alone, and I don't know what that says about me, but I love it, and I don't know what it says about you, but I hope you love it as well. So we're going to go back to my very first post, Outside by David Bowie. If you've been with me before, you'll know David Bowie is, I believe, my actual real father. He's not the one that raised me because, he's a bit of a player, and I'm not unappreciative to my adopted parents. But David Bowie's blood pumps through my heart is what I'm saying. This album, David Bowie Outside, is my very favorite album by my very favorite artist, which puts it in high contention for my very favorite CD of all of these. And I have very many more than the ones you see behind me. I'm ill. This CD, this particular CD, specifically, is very fun and important to me because part of what I love about collecting is considering the history, the journey that specific object has been through. A lot of people collect based on value, or maybe they're just looking for tracks or anything, and that's me too, right? I like doing that, but I love to consider the journey of this specific copy of David Bowie Outside. Now, when I was a teenager, I worked in a small record store. The owner was ahead of his time. This is the 90s, selling vinyl, right? Nobody had a record player, nobody. But we were doing it, and we sold a lot of CDs as well. And I was a David Bowie fan. I was a budding young David Bowie fan at the time. And somebody traded in this CD. And I thought, oh great, a new David Bowie CD. I've never heard it before. I believe this was released in 1995. And I played it, and it's not like any of the David Bowie music I'd heard before, and I didn't like it. And so I was like, you know what, pass. And I priced it, and I put it on the shelf. And it sold very quickly, right? Somebody else came in and probably thought the same things I did. And then they took it home, and they had the same experience I did, because the next day I was working, this thing came back as a trade-in. And I thought, you know what? I love David Bowie. Let me give it another listen. And I did, and I still didn't like it. I didn't like it. And I put it back out with a new price tag. And it sold. And it came back a third time. Now, 3 is a very magical number, right? This CD came back a third time to me. To me, I took that trade in as well. I played it again, and I loved it. All of a sudden, I got it. Now, this is part 1 of a concept album in which David Bowie casts himself as an art detective in a dystopian London, trying to track down the killers of a young girl who have killed her as a sort of performance art and displayed her body. And it is supposed to be a journey through those dark alleys and drippy tenements and, kind of this insane people, and it has this incredible artwork inside. And it has a story written in it, and all these different characters, and the music itself is a very dark, industrial inspired, gritty, electronic. There's nothing else like it in David Bowie's catalog. Nothing. And I know that the tour for this wasn't very successful either. People did not get it. They didn't get this. And part 2 was never released. I held my breath for part 2 for a long time, basically until David Bowie died. And I still hope that the tracks will be released in some form because I know they recorded them. And this is produced by Brian Eno, collaborated with Brian Eno. It's a brilliant, brilliant CD. Every single track on here is a favorite track of mine. And you would do very well to listen to this. But listen. Take my advice, because this is not like any David Bowie album that you're used to. Play this once. And when you don't like it, play it a second time. And when you don't like it then, please pick it up and play it a third time. Because it is incredible.